as an anti-war person, has there been ever for you a just war, wars that are justified? Because for me, the history of World War II always felt like that was certainly a just defense from the Allies. Yeah. But I also always felt like the Balkans was a just war. But I've heard since then, I think it was from, who's that comedian?
Dave Smith?
Dave Smith said absolutely not. But I thought it'd be an interesting question just as a starting place with you.
Well, I mean, obviously it's complicated. World War II especially is a very complicated one. Overall, if I have to go back to American history, I like the results of the American Revolution and secession from the British Empire.
Oh, so that's the only one. Thank you.
But I cannot stand by the war against Mexico or the Civil War or the war against Spain or the World Wars, Korea, Vietnam, or any of the Middle East wars, or really the Cold War, overall. In fact, if you go to my website, there's a thing at the bottom where you can click and get this free ebook. It's this nice thing a friend, Christopher Lynn, did for me. That's just summing up how they lied us into every single war. So if they're just wars, how come they have to lie us into every single one of them, And even World War II, I mean, I don't think we want to spend too much time on it, but my rote answer for World War II is it's all Woodrow Wilson's fault for getting us into World War I. And that war was a stalemate, essentially frozen. Everybody lost. Wilson's slogan for getting us into that war was we wanted peace without victory. In other words, we weren't going to be conquerors and take over Europe. We were just going to win and then make everybody be nice after that kind of thing. Well, but that was where they already were. Peace without victory, because everybody was out of shoes and ammo, and it was just over. And in fact, even at the time after America intervened and tilted the balance against the Germans and they had to surrender, they were still on French soil when they surrendered, but they were in no position to march on Paris anyway. Everybody was just frozen in the mud. So then here come the Americans, and the first thing they do is they bribe Kerensky, the new revolutionary government in Russia, to stay in the war. Here's trucks and oil and boots and ammo to stay in the war. That led to Kerensky being overthrown by Lenin and Trotsky about 6 months after he had taken power, and the birth of the USSR and the Soviet Union. Then, of course, as everybody learns in school, even in government school, I learned that because America had helped Britain and France win such a lopsided victory against the Germans when they entered, that put them in the position to dictate the Versailles Treaty to Germany, which made them pay the reparations for the entire cost of the war on all sides and stripped them of all their outlying properties. And I don't just mean like their territories in Africa or something, but I mean all of their own outlying territories. And as even your 7th grade school teacher should have taught you, this humiliation was what laid the fertile soil for the rise of the Nazi Party and Adolf Hitler in the name of getting revenge for that. And then at the same time, they also destroyed the Ottoman Empire and helped the British and the French expand the British Empire. I mean, the French got Lebanon and Syria, but the British got 1 million square miles, the rest of the Middle East. So this all set the stage for World War II, and then the Cold War, the regime change, the communist victory in China, which was somewhat dependent on the previous victory in Russia for the communists, and then the American entire empire and Cold War in the name of containing that Soviet menace that they had helped to save from the Germans, who were the result of their previous negative policy. So in other words, even if you want to start history after Pearl Harbor and Hitler declares war on America and don't we have to go whoop them now, that's Robert Higgs calls that truncating the antecedents, right? Never mind what happened, how America, baited the Japanese into attacking us so they could have an excuse to go to war in Europe and all of these things. But even if you truncate the antecedents, then you still have to recognize that the situation in Europe between Hitler and Stalin, it could have never been, except they were both Woodrow Wilson's bastard sons.